The Los Angeles Dodgers are facing an immediate roster puzzle, and it is one that could trigger a chain reaction across the organization. The 40-man roster is completely full, and with Kyle Tucker set to officially arrive, a move has to happen. There is no way around it. A spot must be cleared. And that reality is pushing the Dodgers toward decisions that go far beyond a simple paperwork adjustment. This is about balancing a championship-caliber roster while protecting the future of the organization at the same time. One option is always the most drastic one, designating a player for assignment, but internally the Dodgers value depth, especially defensive flexibility and late-game options. That makes the front office hesitant to simply cut someone loose unless absolutely necessary. Instead, the focus has shifted toward the trade market, where the Dodgers can solve the problems at once. They can free up a roster spot while also bringing in young talent to restock a farm system that has taken some hits in recent years. The reason that farm depth matters right now is simple. When a team signs elite free agents who had received qualifying offers, draft capital is the price of doing business. The Dodgers accepted that cost when they committed to winning now, but that also means they must be creative in how they replenish talent, trading players who are already on the 40-man roster for younger, controllable pieces has become a proven strategy, and it is one the Dodgers have executed successfully before. Within that context, two names stand out as realistic trade candidates. One is an outfielder who has spent years grinding in the minor leagues and finally put together a dominant season, earning top honors in one of the most competitive AAA leagues. The other is a former highly regarded right-handed pitcher whose development has stalled, leaving his role with the Dodgers uncertain. Both players still have value, just not necessarily clear pots on a roster that is loaded from top to bottom. For the pitcher, a change of scenery might be the best thing possible. Staying in Los Angeles likely means bouncing between roles or being buried on the depth chart unless injuries pile up. Another organization could offer him the opportunity to reset, stretch back out as a starter, and rediscover the form that once made him so intriguing. For the Dodgers, moving him now could turn a question mark into multiple developmental pieces with upside. The outfielder's situation is even more complicated emotionally. He has spent his entire professional career in this organization, and his goal has always been to debut wearing Dodger blue. But baseball is about opportunity, and opportunity is scarce on a roster that just added one of the best outfielders in the game. With Kyle Tucker stepping in as the everyday right fielder, the path to consistent playing time has narrowed even further. The Dodgers already have a young center fielder who showed real progress over the course of the season, especially defensively. His athleticism and arm strength give the team confidence that he can handle that position long-term in left field. The Dodgers still value a veteran bat whose defense may not be perfect, but whose offensive impact and postseason presence cannot be ignored. That combination effectively locks in the outfield alignment, making it hard for a fringe player to break through. This is where roster construction becomes ruthless. Even a productive season in the minor leagues does not guarantee an everyday role. When the major league lineup is stacked with all-star level talent in another organization, that outfielder could be penciled into the lineup immediately. With the Dodgers, he is competing against stars and established contributors, which changes the equation entirely. Kyle Tucker's arrival reshapes everything. He is not just an upgrade, he is a foundational piece. His presence lengthens the lineup and forces opposing pitchers to navigate a stretch of hitters with no easy outs. When a player of that caliber slides into the middle of the order, it pushes other quality bats further down, creating a lineup that feels overwhelming from the first inning to the last. The projected batting order reflects just how deep this team has become. There is elite talent at the top, proven run producers in the middle, and dangerous hitters even near the bottom. On most teams, several of these players would be featured in prime run-producing spots. With the Dodgers, they are spread out, turning the lineup into a relentless wave of pressure. That depth also reinforces why certain trades make sense. When a team can afford to move a capable player without weakening the major league roster, it is often the right time to do it. For the Dodgers, moving a player who lacks a clear role could help sustain success beyond the current window. It is not about giving up, it is about staying ahead. While the roster maneuvering continues, there is another layer to the story that cannot be ignored. The Dodgers are not done, even with an already elite starting rotation on paper. There is quiet momentum behind the idea of adding yet another frontline starter. That might sound excessive, But recent seasons have shown how fragile pitching depth can be over the course of a long year. In an even longer postseason, the Dodgers leaned heavily on their arms last season, and the ripple effects were impossible to miss. Injuries, fatigue, and bullpen strain all played roles at different points. The front office understands that protecting pitchers is just as important as acquiring them. Adding another high-end starter would not just be about dominance, it would be about insurance. There is also a philosophical element at play. The Dodgers do not build rosters assuming perfect health, they plan for adversity. They assume something will go wrong, because in baseball, something always does. That mindset is why they continue to explore upgrades even when logic says they are already good enough. Another elite starter would allow the team to manage workloads more carefully, avoid pushing pitchers past warning signs, and keep arms fresh for October. It would also give them flexibility if someone needs time or if performance fluctuates. In a season where expectations are sky high, margin for error matters. All of this points to a front office that is fully committed to winning right now without sacrificing long-term stability. Clearing a roster spot for Kyle Tucker is just the beginning. The moves that follow will shape not only the opening day roster, but the trajectory of the organization over the next several seasons. Beyond the immediate roster shuffle, the bigger picture starts to come into focus when you look how aggressively the Dodgers are positioning themselves for the next season. This organization is not operating like a team that is satisfied. It is operating like a team that believes its window is wide open and wants to force it open even further. The addition of Kyle Tucker sends that message clearly, but it also creates a ripple effect that influences every other decision they make. When you examine the rotation, it already looks intimidating on paper. There is top-tier talent, postseason experience, and a blend of power arms and finesse pitchers. Still, the Dodgers have learned the hard way that paper depth does not always translate to October success. Workload management has become a priority, especially for pitchers who have logged high-stress innings deep into playoff runs, or who carry injury history. That reality is why the idea of adding another elite starter is being taken seriously inside the organization. The logic is simple. If you can add another frontline arm, you reduce the pressure on everyone else. You can space out starts, skip outings when needed, and avoid pushing pitchers through discomfort just to survive the regular season. Over the course of a long schedule, those small decisions can make the difference between having your best arms available in October or watching them break down at the worst possible time. There is also the matter of bullpen health. Last season showed how quickly relief pitching can unravel. When starters are not able to consistently go deep into games, fatigue builds quietly, then suddenly becomes unavoidable. The Dodgers want to avoid repeating that cycle by strengthening the rotation even further. They create a buffer that protects the bullpen and keeps roles clearly defined. That is why conversations around another high-end starter continue to surface. This is not about panic or insecurity, it is about maximizing leverage. An additional ace-level pitcher gives the Dodgers options, and options are everything when the postseason arrives. Matchups, rest schedules, and series planning all become more favorable when you have surplus talent. At the same time, the front office understands that every move must fit within the larger ecosystem of the roster. Adding a star pitcher often requires giving up real value in return, which circles back to the earlier discussion about trading players currently occupying 40-man roster spots. Those decisions are interconnected. One move creates space, another creates opportunity, and together they reinforce the Dodgers' long-term vision. What stands out most is the mindset. Many teams that win championships shift into a defensive posture, protecting what they have and avoiding risk. The Dodgers are doing the opposite. They are identifying weaknesses, even subtle ones, and attacking them aggressively. The message to the rest of the league is clear. Winning back-to-back titles has not dulled their edge. If anything, it has sharpened it. Kyle Tucker embodies that approach. He is not just a complementary piece. He is a transformational addition who elevates the entire lineup. His presence forces opposing teams to rethink their pitching strategies and lineup construction. There are fewer places to hide and fewer moments to breathe when facing an order that deep. That kind of lineup changes the way games are played. Pitch counts rise faster. Mistakes are punished more consistently, even when the Dodgers are not scoring in bunches. They are applying constant pressure, over time, that wears opponents down, especially in a playoff series where adjustments become harder to make. This is also where chemistry becomes an underrated factor. The Dodgers are mindful of not disrupting a clubhouse that has proven it can handle the intensity of postseason baseball. Continuity matters. Roles matter. Veterans who have delivered in October carry weight that does not always show up in projections. That is why certain players remain valued despite defensive limitations or inconsistent stretches during the regular season. There is a balance between upgrading talent and preserving identity. The Dodgers are walking that line carefully. They are not tearing down what works. They are reinforcing it. That distinction is important. It explains why some names are discussed as trade candidates while others are viewed as essential. Regardless of external noise, as these decisions unfold, the larger ambition becomes impossible to ignore. This team is chasing history. A third consecutive championship is not just a talking point. It is a driving force. Every move is evaluated through that lens. Does it improve the chances of winning in October? Does it protect the roster from attrition? Does it sustain excellence beyond a single season? The Dodgers also understand the broader context of the league, with changes looming and uncertainty ahead. There is urgency to capitalize on the present. Windows in baseball close faster than expected. Even the most talented rosters can fracture due to injuries, contracts, or simple regression. The Dodgers are acting as if now is the moment, because for teams built like this, it always is. What makes this stretch especially compelling is that the roster still has room to evolve. Even after major additions, there are paths to improvement. That flexibility is rare. It speaks 2 years of planning, player development, and a willingness to make difficult decisions before they become unavoidable. As the season approaches, every transaction will be dissected, every rumor amplified, but beneath all of that is a clear through line. The Dodgers are not content with being great. They are trying to be overwhelming. They are constructing a roster designed to absorb adversity, dictate matchups, and sustain dominance from April through October. And with the moves already made and the possibilities still on the table, this version of the Dodgers continues to feel like a team that has not finished writing its story. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers are growing around the league that the most expensive roster ever assembled has created a kind of gravity that even seasoned leaders struggle to escape. Inside the Dodgers clubhouse, the figure most often mentioned is not a superstar player, but David Ray Roberts. To those who know him best, sources close to the organization suggest that guiding a roster valued in the billions has transformed the manager's chair into a pressure chamber, where every decision feels amplified and every silence carries weight. Roberts, a former outfielder who built his reputation on calm authority and cultural fluency as a Japanese-American figure in a traditionally conservative sport, is rumored to be confronting the psychological cost of unprecedented expectations. The manager has reportedly acknowledged in private conversations that the stress has become insupportable at times, even hinting that rest is a luxury rarely afforded. Not sleeping is part of the job, he is said to have admitted, a remark that has circulated among insiders as both a badge of honor and a quiet alarm. The speculation goes further. Some within the league believe the sheer scale of investment has subtly shifted power dynamics, placing the manager between ownership ambition and player stardom. With so much money on the field, patience is thin, and the margin for error feels microscopic. Roberts' public composure, long praised as a strength, is now seen by some as a carefully maintained facade, concealing the grind of constant scrutiny. Others argue that this is precisely why he was chosen, a steady hand capable of absorbing pressure without letting it fracture the room. Yet the rumor mill insists that even the steadiest hands tremble when the stakes reach historic levels. Whether this pressure will forge a defining chapter in Roberts' legacy or expose the human limits behind the uniform remains an open question, one whispered about in corridors and debated in hushed tones across baseball. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.